Alert the squad. Alert the squad. Alert the squad. Alert the squad.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
I'm gonna just let that roll for it. I'm gonna let that leave that up there for a second. Mic check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2.
Okay, we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes, dudettes, the sexy, the not so sexy, the in between, they're kind of sexy, but I guess they don't have enough money. Big children and little. I am the novelist, soft poet, Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Bleu.
I'm your girl Lauren Keeler, aka Lokee.
Lokee all day. And we were talking before we shut the camera on. I made mention that your name was Lokee. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, oh, you keep things low key, which triggered a thought about this blog that I saw the other day, where this social scientist, this female, was just like, well, basically in my experience after interviewing so many thousands of women over the course of my lifetime, women cheat as much, if not more than men. And the reason why they have more success at getting away with it is because the general woman who cheats keeps the shit to herself. I do my dirt all by my lonely. How do you feel about that? Is that true?
I think the fifth.
Okay. Don't you love Lauren though? She's just like, you ain't gonna get me on the podcast and do a 6'9" Tekashi snitching on the female race.
I mean, to each their own.
Indeed.
But I feel like ladies in general, I'm just speaking for the ladies that I associate myself with, they carry themselves a different type of way. So,
okay.
You know, like, I support everything that they do because they have good reason to do what they do.
Okay, so they don't necessarily do the walk of shame. They do the walk of blame. Like, look what you made me do. I had to go get Dexter St. Jock, and you forced me to get my back blown out.
See, you still back me into a corner somehow. I tried.
Don't say nothing.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, first start. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Mirror of Mind podcast. What are we talking about today, Lauren? We're not talking about cheating. We started with cheating.
Yes.
But we're actually not talking about cheating.
We're talking about religion and relationships.
Oh! Spirituality, religion, compatibility, all that stuff. Religion and relationships. What is your gut about it first? We always talk about the gut. What is your gut when you hear that title, religion and relationships?
You know, it really depends on how deep into religion you are. So I feel like that's a conversation that needs to happen in the first 3 dates. Like, I'm super into my religion. You're either with it or you're not, and then let's just call it what it is.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But I think a lot of people try to push past that, and then it ends up causing a lot of issues later down the road.
Okay, well, I don't think there are two people actually on the planet that line up line for line. There are plenty of people that line up line for line, but there are a ton of people who don't. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There are a lot of couples out there that I'm pretty sure are whatever Malcolm X and his wife was, whatever Martin Luther King and his wife was. But I would care to wager that probably isn't the majority. In my personal experience, I was once married to an atheist. And this was very interesting. And
just so everybody is aware, how do you identify yourself? Are you religious, spiritual?
I identify myself as a spiritual man, and inside of that spiritual belief, I personally, I'm not telling you what to believe, I'm not telling you what to believe, but I personally believe that the search for who God is an eternal one. It's something that never stops. I don't think that one day, I think you have a love for God and a general understanding, but trying to wrap your, I guess, 3.5 pound brain around the nature of infinity is a tough cover for anybody. So I believe that's a constant. So when man, woman, two men, transgender, whatever the combination of two people loving each other is, good grief, where do you start? Okay, this is my understanding of who God is, or that which we call God. This is your understanding of what you believe God is, and let's come together. I think where we get it wrong is that when we get these beliefs in our head as to what we know it to be, and there's nothing wrong. Your truth is your truth. And there's nothing wrong with your version of the truth. I think where it gets sticky is when we get angry at people for not interpreting their truth the way we interpret our own truth. You know, for example, I was in the midst of a breakup not terribly long ago, where I brought a spiritual set of beliefs to a religious woman. This is fine. And on the surface, I felt extremely comfortable because I come from a religious background. You feel me? Uncles, granddad, aunts, and things of that nature. Everybody was in the church when I was growing up. My uncle was a minister who married my mother and father.
Wow.
Okay? So, I was doing natural young boy stuff. I did the usher thing, and they was trying to groom me to be a deacon at some point. There was suggestions like nudges.
Right.
Like, oh, you speak so well, you should be on the pulpit. I decided to be a poet instead.
You didn't want to be pastor.
I didn't want to be the pastor.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'd have been too blingy to be a pastor. I like nice things. I'd have been the young pastor graffiti. What?
Like $5 dollar?
What? I'd have been all cleft out. I'd have had the fanciest. He'd be just like, Jesus must be nice. Because I'd have had the crazy silk shirts and
the Range Rover.
I'd have been pulling up in the milk white Range Rover license plate says Jesus with a Z.
Go ahead, Pastor.
As soon as you pull into the church parking lot, everybody's like, geez.
All the women trying to be the first lady. Talking about, Pastor, you give us a word to say.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
You was speaking to my spirit.
I'm just like, we're going to be speaking a whole lot. Counsel after church.
I might need you to lay hands on me.
I mean, really. So, hashtag, are we going to hell for that one? So, I brought, and my spiritual, my new spiritual belief, I didn't think that it was going to interfere. And I was just happy that she believed in something that was greater than herself. Mm-hmm. I was like, bravo. I think regardless of your denomination, your interpretation, I think that the thing that helps us deal with our dark humanness that we are all capable of, my belief, is the belief of that there is something bigger than yourself. Mm-hmm. And understanding that we can be very dark, evil sons of bitches and given the circumstance, and remember that there's something greater and bigger out there. So as this relationship went on, and I'm accepting her version of what God is, I'm like, man, I'm so happy, and we're having these beautiful talks about the glory, right? Until she starts exploring my interpretation. So I started getting pissy because here I am, I fully accepted where you were at with it. I'm just like, I believe in something higher too. I believe a little bit, I would make some addendums to some of your stuff, but we'll talk about it. I'm like, this is gonna make great conversation.
Okay.
Her interpretation was just like, you're Satan. You must be the devil.
Wow.
I must be practicing witchcraft. I must be a warlock. I'm into the Wiccan and all of this stuff.
That's a far reach. How did...
It is a far reach.
Okay.
And which started a series of conversations. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And at the bottom line, even though I didn't want to have to divulge or try to explain my belief system in its entirety, I was just like, if that's the case, I tried to reference the religion that she was, the religious doctrine she was under as I understood it. Mm-hmm. So then I tried to go logical off of what I knew being raised Baptist. So I'm like, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, right? I'm like, that is in your scripture, is it not? She's like, true. I'm like, so in your heart of hearts, if you feel that I am filled with love and I'm bringing nothing but love to your doorstep, bringing nothing but love to your children, bringing nothing but love to your family and friends, and you are a devout Baptist, Christian, what have you, you stay prayed up, you stay faithful, you stay diligent, you stay selfless, you do all the good things. If I just so happen to be a warlock on the low, woo, the God that I know that you worship, if I remember correctly, says you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
make it make sense.
Right. And you're just like,
Yeah, make it make sense.
She was like, it hurts to do this. I'm like, okay, so you got to get rid of me because being side by side with me is going to damn you to hell. I respect that. I was just wondering how.
Was it because there wasn't a ring on her finger, or was it like I still make it make sense?
I can't.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I want to.
Okay.
I tried to. And I was very hurt by that. It's not every day. I've been called many things. I've been falsely accused. I've been lied on. You know what I mean? You know, there's some ugly motherfuckers out there talking about they got sexually harassed. I'm like, not by me. Not by me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some people that wanted a little tay-to-tay, and I said nay, and they were just like, he grabbed me in the biscuits. I'm like, when? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What I remember was you chasing me around the block. That's what I remember. You know, so I've been called a couple of things in my lifetime. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? And I've been taking it with a grain of salt. I'm like, you can hate me, baby. I'll be that.
Right.
You know? Right. But Satan, when someone calls you Satan, yeah, I felt the way. So we are talking about religion and relationships. Mm-hmm. And when I married my atheist, my thinking was that if I'm just going to be accepting, look, first off, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna shut up.
All right, I'm listening.
But my core belief to this whole religion and relationships thing is this. I believe in the higher power, and I believe in all of its glory. So I can't understand why our human hubris and arrogance feels that God needs help. For example, I love you wholeheartedly. I love you like there's no tomorrow. But I believe that you are believing in some false notions. Let's say that I love you and I know that you believe pretty much the way I believe, but in my interpretation, you're one of the flock that is straying away from, you know what I mean, or from God. Let's say I believe that. I love you, but I believe you're walking the wrong route. We believe God made a planet. We believe God made a sun. We believe God made us. God made an eternal soul. God made heaven, earth, and all of these wonderful things. Clouds, hummingbirds, all of these beautiful things. But for some reason, in our arrogance, we think God needs our help. Mm-hmm. So instead of just telling you, hey, Lauren, I love you, I think the key to what you're looking for may be in how I'm conducting myself. Let me show you by example. Hey, babes, the light over here is warm. You may want to do this to find the light. We be feeling like we need to chastise and condemn you because you don't believe as I do. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, so a part of me believes that you can not be equally yoked and see eye to eye on every single category down the line to be together. But I think that mutual respect and coupled with the desire to learn it. Mm-hmm. If you believe it and I love you, then why not investigate it? That's not worthy of an investigation.
It is.
I think so.
It is. And I think that's, in general, what a relationship is about. Is kind of not always challenging each other, but definitely kind of opening each other's eyes and worlds to different opinions, thoughts, feelings, experiences, and that bringing you closer together. And also allowing you to truly see the other person, not just through your lens, but just see who they are in general.
Indeed. Have you been with somebody like a Muslim man or somebody who practiced a different faith other than Christian based?
I briefly dated a gentleman that was East Indian, but he wasn't like super religious, or he didn't present himself to be super religious. And when we talked about like taking our relationship to another level, it was like, oh, I had concerns. He's like, oh, bring me home to mom, blah, 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 blah. It's all good. And I'm like, are you sure? And then he went to India and he came back married. And then that's...
Whoa! What happened? I think for the first podcast, I'm going to insert the instant replay. Okay?
And then he went to India and he came back married.
Because I don't know what just happened right there.
I start a story, then I'm like, yada, yada, yada. And then he went to India again.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first instant replay. Let's cut to the instant replay. Wow, okay. Well, we've voted. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah. Were you ever pressured inside a certain series of beliefs?
No. Well, I did. Growing up in high school, I was really close to a friend of mine and her family. They were Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. And so in order for me to basically kick it with my best friend at the time, I was attending meetings and going out in the field with them and everything, and they kept trying to convert me, and I was just I respect your religion and everything, but that's just not my deal. Right. And how I want to practice religion for my personally. and then it got to a point where like I got cut off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know, and I don't want to really burn or try to scorn anybody that has a strong belief. And I think it's actually very noble, and I'll explain. When you experience an enlightenment and God talks to you, God's like, "What up, Lokee? This is the DJ of all DJs.
What's up, G?"
Right. This is what's going. This is. Let me help you understand who I am. This is who I am. And lays it out. And you're like, oh my God. Of course, people that have had that experience or feel like they're enlightened or may very well in fact be enlightened, right? You know, of course it would be very natural for them to be like, this is the way. Let me show you. This is the way. You know what I mean? But all things in all time. And that's why I go back to the whole God does not need our help thing. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. God certainly enjoys, and we have a purpose.
Yeah.
In that way, we're just not just existing for the sake of existing. There is certainly a grand design to it. You know, however, if God wanted us to make certain moves, I don't think God is shy like that. I don't think God is. I think God is subtle because God needs to be.
Well, and if you think about it too, it's one of those things that we all come from different backgrounds and different experiences.
Yeah.
Like my mom's relationship with God is going to be different from mine, whether, you know, even though she raised me in the church, like I had to find my own relationship and connection to God through life experiences, trials and tribulations, and working on myself and just growing as a person. So for someone to condemn you and tell you like you're going to hell for this, that, and the other, sometimes you got to go to hell to find your way to heaven.
And sometimes a walk through the fire is exactly what you needed to have you appreciate what you prayed for in the first place. Right,
because a lot of people don't think about it, but some of our greatest ministers have like done drugs or it gets real. Sometimes I hear conversations that Martin Luther King had and all kind of stuff, and we forget how human these figures actually are. Exactly.
You know, so that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to add as we wrap this one up? Religion and relationships.
I just think like we could say this about religion and other aspects of relationships. You know, finances and family relationships and all this other stuff. But you really have to be aligned with that person.
Indeed.
And like, not just focus on the present, but like if you're talking about making something happen with somebody, you got to really be like, this is what I want, this is how I want to go about it, this is how I feel. And I really just think that's important. That's what I've learned from being in relationships. It's just, you really have to be aligned.
Yeah, well, amen to that. You do have to be very much aligned. How do two people then try to become aligned as early as possible so you won't get shot? Do you have any suggestions?
Have uncomfortable conversations.
Have uncomfortable conversation early. I agree with that.
Yeah, stop trying to be cute and, you know, and perfect and everything. Like, just get it over with. Talk about, you know, like, I mean, obviously just don't come out with all your childhood trauma on the first date while you're eating sushi.
Right.
It was like, I was beat by my father for, you know, like, you don't have to do that.
Right.
But I just think it's really important to have those uncomfortable conversations and say like, or be honest about what you're looking for.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really agree. Low-key. You know, I throw you an alley-oop for you and you dunk the basketball every time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the six and the not so sexy big children and little. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any ideas or suggestions, this actually came per a suggestion that I'll put up on the screen for someone who mailed to us, and I owe that person because we used the idea here on the air, and we blogged about it, so I owe that person a box set of the Poet's Pursuit of Pleasure series.
Congratulations.
And congratulations! We winner, chicken.
Spirit fingers.
Sure. Okay. Nice! And and if you have ideas, please write us at info here at the Mirror Minds Podcast, info@gbleu.com. This is my partner Lauren, Lokee Keeler. I am the novelist of the poet Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Bleu, and also don't forget to send me your address. I'm gonna pick up the shipping, but I need to know where to send this book to. These books too, if we use your idea. Appreciate ya. Out. That was good. I'm hearing the music now. I'm hearing the freaking the outro music, guys. We've been putting the work in. I can hear the outro music now.
Alert the squad.